Hi, this is ZvT on Python. It's played on iCup. Um, at the time of playing, my opponent it's pretty early to the season, and he was a good status C Korean. So even though this was played during the low ranks, it actually doesn't mean that he's necessarily very bad, as this game will show. Um, and this is a bit more special type of a ZVT, and any of you who have basically trouble with the Terran just pushing out too early, or just not going back to his base, or you're not able to keep him in his base with your muta harass, this should somewhat cover what you're looking for. I sent my first overlord to scout. I sent my ninth drone to scout as well. I could have sent my 12th drone to scout all the same. However, over here I kind of decided that I want to send an earlier drone scout, so I will know if he decides to make some kind of a fast barracks or something a bit sooner, allowing me to place pool instead of hatchery. However, it would be completely fine not to do that. Do that and just scout with my 12th drone or something. Okay, so I noticed that he only now starts his first barracks, so really he's not gonna make any kind of proxy, and I can make a fast expansion just fine. Um, on Python, mech builds aren't very common, since it's hard to pull off. You don't have the third gas anywhere nearby, and it's kind of hard to take a new expansion and so on. So mech builds are overall quite hard to play around with when it comes to Python. So that's why I wasn't especially afraid of it. So 12 drone to scout would have been just as fine. However, this time I just decided to send a 9th drone to scout. Well, so I used the extractor trick to get my drone back to full health. That is actually, it can help you let your drone stay alive a bit longer, and allow you to harass him overall in many ways. And that's something you can do, especially if you're kind of like you're running around his base trying to figure out his tech, and he has a marine chasing you or something. So you use the extractor trick so that your drone actually gets full health, allowing it to have a better chance of escaping after that. I did a 3 hatchery start off over here, so basically 12 hatch, 11 pool, 13 hatch, but I could just as well go with 14 hatch, all the same. It doesn't make much of a difference, even less so when I know that he's not gonna make any kind of a quick barracks. However, I decided to go with 13 hatchery this time, just for just for the sake of it. The advantage I get from getting the 13 hatchery is that I will actually get a faster 8 links, and 6 links for that matter, and that will allow me to add some extra pressure on him in case he's careless. Like if he didn't build a bunker right now, there's a good chance that I'd be able to deal quite a bit of damage with my first links, but he decided to build a bunker, so I'm not able to add any pressure with these links. If he only had like 4 to 5 marines, I would probably be able to kill all those marines and several of his SCVs with these 8 links, so I decided to go with that. And I sent back 2 links after I noticed that I won't be able to break him. He has a bunker, so there's no point keeping all my links over here at this point. Instead, I bring out 2 links back to my natural. That is simply so that I can deny all his scouting in case he sneak by an SCV, which I did not notice. So I also sent my second overlord over to his natural cliff. Over there Marines really cannot shoot down that overlord without any flying or scanners or something. So it's good to keep over there. You can kind of see what he's doing and what he has even without links. Also notice he didn't have a medic, but I noticed that he was still kind of dangerously moving towards me. Plus there's the fact that on Python the rush distances are very small, so I decided to build a sunken colony just to be safe with it. there would have been the option that I would have stopped drone production completely and just made a links, and then use those links to destroy his marines if he tried to attack me. Like, let's say he's looking at my naturalness, he's like, oh, there's no second colony, I might as well attack, even though I do not have stimpaks nor medics, and instead you could just attack with the links or something. But making a second colony was a bit safer, and I'm not sure, but it like anymore. I played this a couple of days ago, and I didn't pay too much attention, though I should have. So it might have been that I was actually supply blocked as well, which wouldn't allow me to get my links fast enough, in which case placing a second colony is a must. Also, to tell you the exact gas timings with 12 hatchery start off, if you're going Miras and you started off with a 12 hatchery, you did a 3 hatchery build, Mira especially, then it pretty much means that you place your second gas when your layer is usually 20 to 30%, as long as you can afford it, of course. Like if you're really tight on minerals and you simply cannot afford it, then of course not. And you start saving larva when your spire is about 40% done or so, maybe 33% if you have a lot of spare minerals. And if you're really tight on minerals, like for some reason you have very few drones, you could start saving up larvae as late as when your spire is 50% or so. If you start saving larvae like at 33%, which means that when your spire is 33%, you use your last larva and don't use any larva until your spire pops. Then that's pretty much the ideal amount, like saving up at 33%. But you will get them relatively soon regardless. So over here I kind of started saving up a bit later than 33%, because I felt like I simply needed those necessary minerals. Now I'm noticing that he's bringing up even more units. Like normally if I micro my mutas like this, I'd be able to shoot down his marines and medics and whatever, but for some reason he seems to have built a lot of barracks, and there's a big chance that he's kind of making a slower tech and kind of ignoring a big part of his defense in his base and expansions for getting marines out sooner. However, I cannot really attack him, because if he has so many barracks like producing units, then that pretty much means that if I attack with my mutas, I'd be forced to build like a billion zillion sunken colonies if I want to survive his counterattack and win the game. So that's not really an option. However, I need to be harassing his army at all times, because if I let him build his army up, and if I let him just stay outside my natural or something with his army, then he has a lot of freedom when it comes to like he can just attack and his army will keep growing, and I cannot stop it at that point. I gotta keep it down while they're still in relatively small numbers. So I'm microing up over here, getting a quick, well, not quick lurkers, but I paid attention to make quicker lurkers perhaps than I normally possibly would have. That is simply because, like, he's building a ton of marines and he's all over the map, and I probably won't be able to win this game just by muta micro and massing mutas alone. So it's better to get lurkers a bit sooner and continue harassing over here. So at this point I've kind of figured out that he's probably making a lot of barracks, so his tech is going to be a bit late. I also made up a couple of zerglings along with my mutas. That is simply so that I can add a bit more pressure when it comes down to it. I also need my lurkers up soon, and I need to pay attention to several other things, such as getting defense for my expansion. Like, especially in this kind of a game where I haven't been able to afford to maynard any drones to my expansion or anything, I need to be, and like he fast expanded, I have to pay especially, I have to put out especially much effort to make sure that like I don't lose that expansion. So that's something I gotta pay attention to. So I'm starting to make lurkers over there with some hydras. Um, I'm also kind of flying around my mutas over here, being ready in case he tries to break through that stuff, though I have like 3 to 5 lurkers, so it's not necessary anymore. So now I'm kind of looking for more chances to micro some marines out. However, you can't be greedy. When he has that many marines, the last thing you want to do is be greedy, because you're just gonna lose your whole army all the time. Now, I've been slightly careless with my overlords. Like, as you may have noticed, I've had some surplus for quite a while already, and that is not something that I ask you to do in any way. The only reason it's happened because I've been slightly careless with my overlords, and I've been supply blocked a lot, like right over here as well.